This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Tonight on The South Today, the anniversary of one of New Zealand's darkest days is marked with a walk for peace. Tourism bookings have soared from expats overseas as the government starts to reopen the borders. And part-time Army Reserve soldiers trained to improve their skills near Christchurch. Kia ora, good evening, I'm Hannah Wilkins. Today marks the 3-year anniversary since a lone gunman attacked 2 Christchurch mosques, killing 51 people and injuring 40 others. One of the survivors has been walking the same route taken by the terrorist from Dunedin to Christchurch. Tamil Atakokugu survived after being shot 9 times and wanted to reclaim the route for peace while raising money for children's charities.
Clapping and cheering greeted Tamil Atakokugu as he arrived at Elnor Mosque this afternoon after a long 358-kilometre walk from Dunedin to Christchurch. The mosque shooting survivor timed the finish of his 2-week journey to arrive at Elnor at 1:40 p.m, the same time the terrorist started his murderous killing spree in 2019.
I would like everyone be silent for a minute to remember 51 people lost here. So we have to remember them.
Tamil himself was shot 9 times and thought he was going to die. He says the terrorist deserves to be forgotten, but walk the route to honour the dead and reclaim it in the name of peace.
I want to show also with this walk I didn't give up and I have a big strength, and I am showing this to the extremism.
3 years and 20 surgeries later, he's still recovering from his injuries, with both mental and physical scars of the day.
I'm quite badly injured with 9 bullets, 5 under my legs and 3 under my arms and 1 in the mouth.
Tamil admits he was anxious about doing the walk, but encountered plenty of support along the way.
I was scared, I can have extremists abusing or verbal abusing or physical harming, but it has not happened. When people is coming friendly and open their big heart, I feel I'm safe.
The long walk took its toll, with Tamil ending up in Timaru Hospital last week with a blood infection thought to be caused by the blisters on his feet. But after 2 days in hospital and getting the all clear from doctors to continue, he jumped on a bike to make up for the lost days and stay on track. He completed the final leg of his journey on foot, arriving at Elnor Mosque this afternoon to a hero's welcome.
3 years later, I'm here now and I want to show to the strength and faith and unity, and we are one and terrorist is nil.
Tamil is now looking forward to resting his blistered feet, but has more surgeries to go and still has a long road to recovery.
Yeah, kaha.
In Christchurch, The South Today.
Most petrol companies have been quick to respond to yesterday's announcement of a temporary 3-month cut to fuel taxes. The government made the rare move to help New Zealanders cope with the rising cost of living. Fuel prices were increasing even before Russia invaded Ukraine, with that move shooting them over $3 a litre for regular 91 petrol. Those record high prices fell in Dunedin on Tuesday as the 25 cents a litre fuel excise tax cut filtered through to petrol pumps. The retail price of 91 fell by more than 40 cents at some Dunedin stations. The government's 3-month relief package could reduce the cost of filling up a car by between $11 and $17 a tank. Road user charges for diesel motor vehicle users will also be cut by 25 cents a litre, with public transport fares to be halved from April the 1st. However, the AA is warning prices will continue to fluctuate, with high volatility set to continue in the short term. New Zealand's domestic accommodation sector is reporting an immediate increase in bookings from Kiwis returning home from overseas. Industry experts are forecasting a further boost for destinations like Queenstown and Wanaka, with international tourists expected in time for the ski season. Holiday home management firm Batchcare reports bookings from Australia have increased by 330% since the recent reopening of the border to expats. Meanwhile, bookings from the UK and the US are both up by more than 40% compared to last year. The government is due to make an announcement on the future of timing for the border openings tomorrow. Dunedin's sea lion population is growing, with pups arriving in record numbers. 20 new pups have been identified this summer along local beaches from St Kilda to Warrington. The Department of Conservation says it's the most successful breeding season for the threatened species since the animals returned to Dunedin shores about 30 years ago. And while numbers are still below the definition of a breeding colony, many pups are now 5th or 6th generation locals. However, curious pups are still vulnerable to being struck by cars, especially on some peninsular roads. DOC will be putting up temporary fencing, signage and road cones in some areas where pups may come out on the road. Army Reserve Force soldiers from the Lower South Island spent the weekend near Christchurch training to improve their marksmanship skills. The soldiers faced some difficult tests against targets that were both static and moving.
On target. It may look easy in the movies, but shooting a man-sized target from 300 metres away, with a strong wind howling over your shoulder and the heat and dust obscuring your vision, can make that task very difficult. It was the challenge over the weekend for 72 soldiers from Bravo Company Dunedin, 2-4 Royal New Zealand Infantry Regiment. The reserve soldiers tackled a weapons qualifications test on the Army shooting range at West Melton. The test's held every year to make sure the part-time soldiers maintain their competency on the various weapon systems.
We're also doing a little bit of shooting development, mainly focusing on marksmanship, working on moving targets and snap targets, reaction, things like that.
Private Martin Page was among those refreshing their skills. He's studying psychology at Otago University and says many of his friends don't realise he's part of the New Zealand Army's Reserve Forces.
Definitely the people that know him, my close friends and family as well, are extremely supportive, and they think it's a cool thing that I get to chuck on a uniform and head away for the weekend out of the flat while they're all having parties and drinking.
Page says along with the shooting skills, he's learnt some good life lessons since joining, especially the parts of life that don't really come easily. In West Melton, the South Today.
FA Yakane, still to come on the South Today. Gender pay issues on the table at a women's dinner in Gore, and we explore a popular South Island coastline.
All new episodes of Put Some Colour in Your Life are now screening on Channel 39. Take a look at Australian artists and the techniques they use in their studio. Put Some Colour in Your Life, Tuesdays, 7:30.
COVID-19 has dealt Queenstown a body blow over the past 2 years, bringing the question of how to diversify the town's economy into sharp focus. I'm Southern Issues reporter Daisy Hudson, and I've been examining how the jewel in New Zealand's tourism crown is reinventing itself. You can check out that story, and many others, in Saturday's Otago Daily Times.
Hi, we're Age Concern Otago.
Age Concern Otago hosts a multitude of social activities, including little walks.
If you're at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
Spark your joy with jazz, the next generation from Honda.
My mate John's a real armchair warrior, because he's fighting high-priced lounge furniture. He's taken 25% off all lounge, all 25% off.
And my mate John.
maintained heat pump can lose up to 35% of its output. The Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner team are experts. Their specially developed chemical wash is totally biodegradable. Call Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner and get the job done by the professionals.
Hi there, guess who? You recognise the eyes? Oh, okay, it's a haircut. Anyway, it's Lindsay here from Campbell's Menswear. Our 3 stores are carrying on as usual. Despite what's happening in the world, we have got some great stock for you. Personally, I've spent 50 years in this business and we have some excellent supplier relationships. We've got great stock, it's hand-picked, it's here, it's on time, and it's ready for this great summer.
Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
So, as my favourite cut says, keep calm and carry on.
Every day the team at Gillian's supports grieving families at their time of need, from answering your questions to organising a farewell that reflects the wishes of your loved one. We can help. Call Gillian's today.
Welcome back. Dunedin's Mayor Aaron Hawkins has confirmed he's tested positive for COVID-19. Hawkins had already been isolating for 6 days after a household contact tested positive. But this afternoon he announced on Twitter that he'd returned a positive rapid antigen test and said he'd be working from home for a little longer than he'd hoped. Case numbers continue to grow in the south, with the district hitting a record number of cases today. The Ministry of Health reported 1,238 new cases of COVID-19 in the south on Tuesday. 2 people were taken to hospital this afternoon following an incident at Mosgiel. St John's said the incident in Gladstone Road North involved an animal, which the Otago Daily Times understands was a horse. 2 patients were taken by ambulance to Dunedin Hospital, one in a serious condition and another in a moderate condition. Meanwhile, emergency services were also called to an accident in Calvin Heights in Queenstown around 1 this afternoon. A vehicle had rolled onto its roof, coming to a stop on a walking track near the water's edge. However, police say no one was located with the vehicle and they're still making inquiries as to who was driving. A women's dinner was held in Gore recently to celebrate International Women's Day. Guest speaker was the principal of Blue Mountain College, who spoke about the continuing pay gap women face in New Zealand.
Joining together to celebrate International Women's Day, Blue Mountain College Principal Lindy Kavanagh Monaghan was guest speaker in Gore at a recent dinner hosted by Seroptimist International. She says women still face a 10% difference in pay compared to men.
You are quite largely disadvantaged if you're a woman, more largely disadvantaged if you're a Maori woman, and even more largely disadvantaged if you're a Pacifica woman.
But she believes the country's fortunate to have many successful female role models, ranging from businesswomen to sports stars.
The upside of being a woman and all the wonderful inspirational women we have around us in our country and locally, and how much we have to celebrate with the diversity of things that women are involved in and the great heights that they're reaching as well.
Attendee Deborah Wood says the talk was on the same page as their volunteer service organisation.
Seroptimist International is an international organisation who promotes and looks after the welfare of women and girls. So International Women's Day is right along exactly what we are all for promoting, and this year it's against bias.
The talk also revealed that many women working in hospitality and caregiving have been affected by job loss and reduced hours due to the COVID-19 pandemic. In Gore, the South Today.
While summer is coming to an end, any time of year can be a good time to explore the Abel Tasman coastline. Many visitors to the national park near Nelson choose the cruise along the shoreline by boat. The South Today went along for the ride.
Cruising along the spectacular coastline of Abel Tasman National Park near Nelson, Abel Tasman Sea Shuttles is one of a number of tourist ventures ferrying hikers and day trippers to some of the inviting beaches along the coast. Skipper Michael Beringer is also proud his company's boats provide transport for workers involved in predator trapping and revegetation programs.
We take a lot of the volunteers in doing the trapping programs and other things, so we're involved in it, in that part of it, but it makes you feel good that you are being involved in something that's improving the park.
From the shoreline ravaged by the early settlers' fires, the native bush is slowly recovering, and thanks to the predator control work, hikers are now likely to encounter bellbirds, tuis and other native birds that have been absent for half a century.
They released 20 kaka up at Bark Bay 18 months ago. They housed them in aviary for a while to acclimatise, and now they've been released down the hills. And I talked to a couple the other day that had been in Bark Bay camping, and the kakas woke them up in the morning, which I thought was fantastic.
After COVID-19 closed the country's borders, the Sea Shuttle company was forced to lose half its staff and had to leave the larger boats in its fleet back at base. Beringer says they're very grateful for any tourists that do turn up, for both the financial boost as well as their pride in introducing visitors to the golden sand shores of Abel Tasman.
That's my passion. I mean, I've always been a tour guide, even before I was a tour guide. I mean, look at the beautiful place we live. If you're living here, you want to show it off to people. That's what I've been like forever and a day.
The Sea Shuttles are just one of many tourism ventures eagerly awaiting the return of overseas visitors. And with borders set to progressively open from mid-March, sites like these should prove a popular drawcard for holiday makers once again. Near Nelson, the South Today.
FA G'day. Still to come on the South Today. Young Southland cricketers get a shot with the bat, and COVID sweeps through the Highlanders camp.
All new episodes of Put Some Colour in Your Life are now screening on Channel 39. Take a look at Australian artists and the techniques they use in their studio. Put Some Colour in Your Life. Tuesdays, 7:30.
Every reason, every season, we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
Livingwell Disability Resource Centre, a not-for-profit charitable organisation and your one-stop shop for information and resources to help you retain independence. We offer a wide range of assistive products from jar openers to mobility scooters and provide assessments for Total Mobility, the half-price taxi scheme. Come and see the friendly team. You'll find us on the corner of George and Bath Streets, ground floor of Burns House.
If you're at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole Map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
A poorly maintained heat pump can lose up to 35% of its output. The Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner team are experts. Their specially developed chemical wash is totally biodegradable. Call Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner and get the job done by the professionals.
My mate John's a real armchair warrior, because he's fighting high-priced lounge furniture. He's taken 25% off all lounge suites, armchairs, two-seaters, three-seater recliners, corner suites, shades, sofa beds, lifted chairs and more. All 25% off. Plus pay it off over 24 months interest-free. This weekend at John's Furniture Warehouse, Stafford Street, and online.
Get that furniture from Stafford Street. And my mate John.
Hi, my name's Matt and I'm the Dines Group CEO. Dines is a company that's focused on selling logistics solutions to its customers. We're passionate about selling efficiency and we've been selling efficiency for over 50 years now.
MTF Finance can help you turn the key on your next vehicle with a loan made just for you. TCs and lending criteria apply.
Okay, what have you got? Okay. Chicks World, party time, excellent. Love it. Chicks World. Chicks World. Right.
Tanakwe, welcome back. A group of school children got the chance to try out the game of cricket in Gore over the weekend. The 3-week sports program is being run to encourage youngsters to develop an interest in cricket.
Giving cricket a shot, young players from Eastern and Northern Southland gathered at Hamilton Park in Gore over the weekend to try out the sport. 4 boys teams and 2 girls teams took part in the event, with a similar program also held in Winton. The trial games were organised by Southland Cricket Development Officer Jack Hilton, who says it's all about helping young people get into the sport.
If we try open up more and more opportunities, hopefully that will get both boys and girls more involved in the game, more interested, more excited in playing cricket.
The aim of the program is to get as many young people, especially girls, involved in the sport and playing better cricket.
Any girl from about year 7 to year 10 in Southland that's keen on cricket and wants to give things a crack can come down. We mix all the girls up, make up 2 even teams, and hopefully they get a couple of competitive games of cricket under their belt.
And while cricket can be a competitive game, it was the social aspect that was enjoyed by many of the girls.
I like that us girls are given the chance to play together and to be ourselves and not have to compete against anything really. Our team's just been putting all our stuff into it and just having a great time.
I'm really enjoying all the good people around here. I've made a lot of friends and everyone's really kind.
The youth cricket program is set to run for 3 weeks. In Gore, the South today.
The Highlanders rugby team have been hit hard by COVID-19, but it's not yet clear whether that will put their next Super Rugby Pacific game at risk. A team spokesman told the ODT there were a growing number of COVID cases across players and staff. As a precaution, the team cancelled its scheduled training and media conference sessions this afternoon. The Highlanders are due to play Moana Pacifica at Dunedin's Forsyth Bar Stadium on Friday night. Moana Pacifica have had a very disrupted season, managing to play only 1 game so far in the Super Rugby Pacific competition. And now recapping tonight's top stories on the South today. The anniversary of one of New Zealand's darkest days has been marked, with one survivor making a long walk for peace. Tourism bookings have soared from expats overseas, and more international visitors are expected as the government starts to reopen the borders. And part-time New Zealand Army reserves have been training outdoors to improve their skills at a remote location near Christchurch. And now we'll look at what's happening in tomorrow's ODT. And welcome Craig Page, Deputy Editor from the ODT. What can we expect?
Good evening. We've had plenty of stories recently about the Otago Regional Council and some issues going up there. We've got another story tomorrow. It's been revealed that the council spent $2.4 million in legal fees last year. Said they were going through various plan changes and required mediation, which accounts for some of that figure. But it's not sitting well with one councillor in particular, Gary Callagher, who said the figure's horrific. And he's concerned that staff are deciding to call in lawyers without consulting with councillors first. He argues that legal fees aren't what our ORC rates are supposed to be spent on, and he's probably got a good point there. So, yeah, lots more grumblings up there, and I think this is going to continue a bit longer as well. We've got more on the Highlanders as well. It's looking increasingly unlikely that match will be played on Friday night, but it also extends further in the competition. Blues and Crusaders were due to play in Christchurch this weekend, but lots of COVID in the Blues team at the moment as well, so that's looking increasingly unlikely. We were warned at the start of the season this may be a problem, and it's starting to look the case at the moment. So, also COVID taking its toll on secondary schooling in Dunedin. At least 2 secondary schools have decided to send senior pupils home to learn online in the short term at least. That's OB's, Tiger Boys and St Hilda's. Lots of COVID through various years at school, but it's also impacting on the teaching. They're struggling to get teachers to cover these classes, so I suspect there's more of it. I know other schools have got these situations in place, so we may see more of it in coming months. And just finally, with our fresh pages, we look to the autumn fashion trends for New Zealand. We often look to the Northern Hemisphere for the big fashion trends with weeks in New York, Milan, etc. being told lots of vibrant pinks and purples to look out for, so that might brighten our streets up.
Okay.
And just on food front, we've Indian food. We've got Christine Mansfield's book, Indian Cooking, at Class at Home, so a wider range of recipes there if you're into your Indian food. Perfect.
Lovely. Oh, thank you, Craig. We'll look forward to that in tomorrow's ODT. And now a look at what's happening in tomorrow's weather.
Tonight's weather proudly brought to you by Mole Map.
A few more days of easterly airflow are set to affect the region till Friday, then we'll see a switch to warmer northerly air streams for the weekend. Looking at what's in store for the southern towns, along the coast, Catlins can expect moderate easterlies with some cloud and a high of 15 degrees. Inland to Balclutha, Lumsden and Gore, fine with light easterlies and a high of 16. Travelling westwards to the Central Lakes region, Wanaka and Queenstown are in for fine weather with moderate easterlies and a high of 19 degrees. Alexandra, moderate easterlies with cloudy skies reaching 15. And Te Anau, also fine with light easterlies and a high of 16 degrees. Looking at the northern towns, Timaru is in for moderate easterlies with showers and a high of 14. Oamaru can expect cloudy skies with moderate easterlies, also with 14. And those easterlies continue further inland to Twizel and Omarama with clear skies and a high of 18. In Dunedin, it'll be overcast tonight with some drizzle patches, easterly winds and an overnight low of 10. It'll be overcast but dry tomorrow and Thursday, rather cold both days with moderate east to northeast winds. Wednesday can expect a high of 14 and a low of 10 degrees, and Thursday up to 14 and down to 11. Lastly to Invercargill now, and it'll be fine and cold tonight. Fine again tomorrow and Thursday with long sunny periods, scattered cloud and light easterly winds. Wednesday can expect a high of 16 and a low of 3. For Thursday, a high of 16 and a low of 5 degrees. And that's the news this Tuesday. For the latest news and videos from the southern region, head online to odt.co.nz. And you can follow Channel 39 on YouTube to catch our news bulletins on demand. Nō reira, kia pai te po, ka kite anō.
This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Public interest journalism funded through New Zealand On Air.